Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the markets as well as the grayscale trusts. So with that being said, let's get it. All right, so the Trump tariffs are supposed to be announced after market close today sometime, which is in about 2 to 3 hours from now. Depends on which market you're talking about, because again, futures closes about an hour after the stock market. So there's that. And the markets apparently, according to what the charts are showing, seem to be convinced that this may indeed be a sell the rumor buy the news event. And there is also some correlation between Trump tariffs 2.0 and Trump tariffs 1.0 back in the day. And I think it was 2018 last time he did it. You guys can probably find that correlation on X if you want to. I'm not going to show it today. If I have time later, perhaps I'll bring it up. But there does appear to be some correlation between the two. So we're getting a little bit green here, not quite in full swing to the upside yet, but it does appear there may be some kind of double dip here, some double bottom playing out. I do want to point out the NASDAQ is almost fully oversold on the weekly time frames. So that's the last time that we got one of those oversold signals was, I believe, all the way back during the bear market lows in 2022, right about there. Sorry for it being so slow, but yeah, right about there. So it's kind of a big deal that this thing is as oversold as it is on this time frame. So anyways, with that being said, the price action is now back above the EMAs on the 4-hourly time frame, which you guys already know what the deal is. We bought XDTE this morning, flipped again from GPIC based on this technical analysis here. So I'll show you that in a minute. But the next thing I want to go over here is TSLL. And again, I've told you guys about this particular setup before. And again, this is not something that we really look for in swing trading or position trading. Definitely not day trading. This is not a pattern that we really look at too much, or that's even all that common, but it's known as the bump and run pattern. There is a bullish and a bearish version. This is the bullish version. So basically, it's kind of like a sell-off and then a capitulation moment, and then it taps the trend line, right? That's why it's called bump and run. So you got your bump, and then it smacks its head a couple of times against the trend line, then it runs, breaks out, and then you have the second trend line, and once we get past that, it should break out again. I'm actually going to show you guys the correlation right here so you can see just how eerily similar this is. All right, make this a little bit smaller so we can see it. Put them right next to each other. Okay, so you got the double dip here, right? You got your 1, 2 bottoms, double bottom here. And then you get the break of the first trend line. We got that. Break of the first trend line. Get kind of rejected off the second trend line. Got that, right? And now you see that where this SL2 is, that's stop loss 2. That's what that means. That's pretty much right about where this level is right here. You can see these 2 candle wick bottoms, right? It's not exactly a perfect science, but we get a break of this trend line, and guess what happens? We close above it, chop sideways, and then boom, take off for the run part of the patterns. So there's a lot of similarities between these two. They're almost not quite identical, but pretty close. So I did want to point that out. And usually the bump and run, it's a very, very bullish move. So it's probably, I can't guarantee it, but it's probably going to push up pretty far, would be my guess, once it does start to run. And we did buy some this morning. So anyways, let's go ahead and talk real quick about the fear and greed index. If this truly is a reversal and this is a sell the rumor by the news, meaning that we're going to start seeing the bullish run back to all-time highs and beyond all-time highs starting today. And again, I can't say anything for certain because the markets have not confirmed on the daily or higher yet that we are indeed going back into a bull run. But if this truly is the bottom before that happens, now may be the time to get in. We're still buying. So extreme fear is still on the table right now. That's usually the best time to start buying the dip, is when you get into kind of the left side of this little equation they got here. So pretty much almost every single metric here is in extreme fear. I do want to point that out. Also, the Fed Watch tool, for some reason, the markets don't think that they're going to get a Fed rate cut in May. Not really sure why that is, but for some reason, they are very convinced that it's going to happen in June. So we have 3 cuts on the table again this year, 1 in June. Looks like another one in September. And then the last one that seems to be pretty much a guarantee at this point, and again, these numbers can always change, would be in December. So 3 rate cuts in the year of 2025. I'm not so sure we're only going to get 3 rate cuts, but again, we have, almost 3 entire quarters left in the year. So something to be said for that. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the portfolio now. We took off the cash secured put on TSLL for a small profit. The reason we did that is because, the volatility can get pretty extreme, and probably will be pretty extreme once the tariff situation actually gets announced. So we kind of want to play a little bit cautious here, but we just think that's probably prudent to be a little bit cautiously optimistic going into this news event. So we bought a little XDTE here. You can see it here, 4.4 shares. Earlier this morning when the markets were much more down than they are now. We also bought some TSLL this morning and then saw it rocket, and we took off our put, so we decided to buy another 5 shares. So 5 shares 3 hours ago at $9.90 and then another 5 at $11.26. As of right now, our average is $12.47 with 1,240 shares. Okay, so that covers TSLL, and I do want to take a quick look at Tesla before we get into grayscale. So, and this is for those of you guys that are in Tesla or maybe considering getting in Tesla. Again, the bump and run patterns, it's here on the Tesla chart too as well, so I want to point that out. The breakup structure that we would need to get above is right around this 290 area on Tesla. Once we get above that, I mean, should be a near straight shot, I would think, probably up to somewhere between 330 to about 360. I know that sounds insane, but that's how structure works on the charts. So almost oversold on the weekly. Again, we are holding this trend line here. Barely held it in the last few weeks, but we did. And I mean, again, we're on the verge of a breakout here. Not really oversold on not oversold. That's not what I meant to say. We're not overbought on any of these time frames, far from it. So Tesla really does have a lot of room to run still before we get overbought. Okay, so now going over to the Grayscale Trust. I'm not going to do GBTC because it's pretty much on sync with Bitcoin. So pretty harsh sell-off here on LTCN. We are barely holding above the support. Again, the current support is 690 to 790. Right about in there. I do want to point out that there is this downtrend line or kind of almost descending channel that we could also look at too. That's typically a bullish pattern, and usually the target is at the top of the channel, in this case 2330. So the level I'm still looking at for a first PT here is 54. You guys can, of course, determine what's right for you. So 680% gain here. BCHG also trying to hold this flip zone here. So again, that level is right around 240 to 280. First target would be all the way up here at 24. And again, just understand, I know it doesn't look great right now, but these markets can literally, like that, flip on a dime, just instantaneously start rocketing up if they wanted to. Okay, so 915% gain here. Excuse me, HZEN. That is a lot of red weekly candles. I can't be certain, but I'm thinking at this point it's looking likely that these Grayscale trusts may about to be at their bottom or may already be at their bottom. Notice on the RSIs how a lot of these are pretty much almost oversold, even more so than they were back here in August of last year. Again, just an example, HZEN in 2023. And again, it's not very easy to see, but you can see back here we got oversold right in this area, right? As soon as we got these signals, it was at or near the bottom, and then it was pretty much just all up from there. Okay, so level I'm looking at right now is right around this $2, pretty much around the current area. You could go as low as 140 if you think it's still going to go lower. So 1060 is the target here. 435% gain, ETCG. Right around this white trend line until we get confirmation that it's going to bounce or break through. So that's at 715 as of right now, and the target I'm still looking at is right around that $20 area, just above that wick, for about 175% gain. Okay, next one here, ETH. So it's within this green zone. This one's kind of all over the place. I would say maybe as low as 12 to as high as right around 1560 for a potential pick-me-up, and then see 70, well, we'll just call it 72, keep it nice and even here. So from worst case scenario to the target for the all-time highs up here, 508%. GBAT. So notice all these red candles. Usually when you get a whole stream of red candles like that, eventually there is a pretty serious and powerful reversal to the upside. It's just a question of when it happens and how long it takes to play out, but I do want to point that out. So markets never, ever get this bearish without having an equally powerful move to the upside. And the inverse is also true. So 175 to 230 here for the buy area on GBAT, and then the all-time highs is the target up here. Pretty massive move, 1,820%. Okay, FILG, this thing is just, wow. Somebody clearly does not want to hold their shares here. So a lot of selling going on. I mean, this is a capitulation event right here. So if you guys were waiting to buy it, like I've told you guys before, and again, this is not financial advice. You guys can make your own mind up about this, but the two things that I would personally look for if I was position trading is extreme oversold signals and or capitulation events like this. Those are the two things I would look for to potentially get in. And this is a capitulation. You notice how large these candles are compared to other candles, right? So as of right now, the buy area is as low as 410 to as high as 1190. And again, you can see just how low this is. It's almost exactly at the previous bear market lows. Target still all the way up here at 400. I mean, anything in between there is basically just icing on the cake. So 8,470% gain. If it hits those bear market lows before eventually we have the final move of this crypto bull run, I mean, you're talking 100x just to get back to the all-time highs. So there's some serious potential there. All right, so anywhere in this green box, so 215 going all the way up to about 690 here for the buy zone. The target's going to be all the way up at the highs at 80 for about 3,700% gain. And the, you know, if you're a bull in the worst case scenario, or I guess it depends on how you look at it. You know, maybe it's a bad thing it goes down for you. Maybe it's a good thing it goes down for you. Depends on whether you're bullish or bearish. Okay, so 1860 to about 2180 is the level I'd be looking at for G-Link. I mean, we do have these wicks down here, but there's a lot more red than green going on here, so that's the reason why I say that. The all-time high is the target at right around 225 for 1,170% gain at GSOL. So still trying to hold that white line. I'm looking at 10 at this area for the level of support. If it goes below that, probably somewhere around that $6 area. Just throwing that out there for you guys in case you're wondering what the next level is. So 80 to roughly about 115 on this one. For about 1,080% gain. But again, I'm not willing to say that it's going to go down to 6 unless I see some level of confirmation to confirm that that move may actually be happening. Okay, this price action is a bit wild. I don't know what's going on here. Usually price action is very succinct. It doesn't cut through a structure zone back and forth like that with candle closes. That's a bit odd. So 29 to 31.50 here for the buy area. Targets all the way up at 70. You could throw it all the way up here at 96. The previous all-time highs for about a 230% gain. Again, that is where the current all-time high for this particular trust is. Next one here, MATA. So I mean, these aren't huge capitulation candles, but they're pretty large. I mean, you look across the volume bars here, you can see they're pretty big. So that's something to keep an eye on if you've been sitting on cash waiting to buy. Okay, sorry for the slowness, y'all. I don't know what the hell's going on here. So anyways, 150 to 360 here for the buy area. The target's going to be all the way up at 70 for about 4,600%. Zcash, last but not least. So right now, I'd say it's somewhere probably in between these white lines. So 205 to about 315 for the pick me up, and then 10 as the first profit target. And again, it's never a bad idea to pick a swing level as a profit target because there's usually going to be some people looking to take profits at these levels and or bears looking to short the market. So 390% gain. And I say this because, again, as we're moving up, right, you get some resistance here at this previous support, right? People looking to sell off this level or take profits off this level, and it breaks through. And then eventually the same level becomes support, and you kind of get the idea. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.